Godmorgen. I'm Michelle McNabb, Librarian Manager of the Family History and Genealogy Center at the Danish Immigrant Museum in Elkhorn, Iowa. Before Christmas, we left off with a biographical account of Regetta Maria Nielsen, who was a young Mormon convert. She came to the United States in the 1860s. After a great many difficulties, and walking nearly all the way from Omaha to Utah with only the clothes on her back, separated from her Danish fiancé and hearing that he had died, her traveling party has finally reached the outskirts of their destination. And we continue. On the evening before reaching Salt Lake City, Brother Elias Edwards asked me to be his wife. Thinking my lover dead, I consented the next evening after I had had a little time to think about it. That morning, the elder who had separated me from my lover in Liverpool and who would not give me help in New York came to me and still insisted that I should go home with him and be his wife. I answered him flatly no, that after his cruel treatment of me, and also telling me my lover was dead, I could not marry him under any circumstance. My second choice then wanted me to go with him to his home in Goshen, Utah. I told him all my story, that I had had more than one offer of marriage, and I did not care for any of them. My heart was still with my first lover, and as yet I did not love anyone else. But as he had been so kind to me, and I had promised to be his wife, I would go home with him on those conditions. I went, and we were married on September 28, 1863. Our home was an adobe room, 12 feet by 14 foot, with a dirt roof, lumber floor, and a table, bench, and 2 stools. He brought from the States a step stove, 6 plates, 6 cups and saucers, and 2 flat irons. My dishes and flat irons were the luxuries of the town. My husband was a good, kind man, but shortly after our marriage he took sick with quick consumption, so we moved to Salt Lake City where he could get medical aid. We took our step stove with us and sold it for $150 to get money to buy medicine and pay doctor bills. We left our stock and furniture, expecting to return to get them. A few days after our arrival in Salt Lake City, I met Sister Hendrickson, a lady who had crossed the ocean when I did. We were very glad to meet each other. In our conversation, she told me that my lover was alive and staying with them. I could hardly believe her at first. She insisted on bringing him to Salt Lake City to see me. And the next Sunday, my husband asked me if I was going to leave him and marry my first lover. I answered him no. I had promised to stay with him until death parted us, and I was going to do so. We were very poor now, and I had to make a living and care for my sick husband. I rented a room from a Swedish lady, and she cared for my husband during the day, while I would go out to wash for whoever could afford to hire me for the day. Among these, I worked for Phineas Young, who was very kind to me, and always filled my apron with some kind of garden stuff and other things to take home. I got a little sewing to do, which I did of an evening, and in this way we managed to get along. We were wondering how our stock were that we had left in Goshen, so I started that morning bright early and walked to Lehigh Bridge by evening. I walked all night and reached our home next morning very tired, the distance being 65 miles. After spending the day there and finding that our stock had been driven off, I took what little flour and other things I could carry and started back to Salt Lake City that evening, covering the distance in the same amount of time. I made that same journey twice that summer. My husband died on August 9th or 11th, 1864, and Phineas Young showed his kindness to me by taking charge of everything and never charging me 1 cent for it. He was buried in Salt Lake City. After his death, I went out to work every day. Before he died, my husband always said it would be right for me to marry my first lover after his death. So on the 2nd of September, 1864, I was married to my first lover, James Thurston. Well, we'll see what happens to Regetta Nielsen next week. I'm Michelle McNabb from the Danish Immigrant Museum. Ha' det godt i dag.